Okay, Cassie, who are your favorite teachers that I didn't already steal?
No,
I'd have to say,
you have
so
to say
Mr.
them twice.
McBride was great for history, but as a Bible teacher, he was just too independent
Stuffy.
fundamentalist. He was just, and it was fine, but some of the things he said, I just lost a lot of respect for him. I still really like him as a teacher for
As a
history,
history teacher.
but for
Yeah.
Bible, no.
I think I only had him for Bible
No.
doctrines.
And he
And that-
definitely, so the videos filmed after he was campus pastor were definitely worse than the ones before, or at least
Well, that
we
makes
noticed
sense.
more. It may not have been that he was worse doctrinally, but that we were noticing them. I don't know. But anyway, he was great for history. I really enjoyed him. Mr. Smith, again, great for history. Bible class he was better than Mr. McBride, but the best Bible teacher I ever had was Mr. Fitch. And
He
you
got
would
fired
not have
really
had,
fast.
so
I
yeah,
had Mr. Fitch, yeah.
you did?
Mhm.
Wow.
I had him for one. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, because he was taken off the video, so it was a new video that I had. I guess he must have done some other stuff previously, but it was a new video I had. And he was gone the following year. So,
He was the really tall, lanky dude, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him.
And
Kinda
it
looks
was
Jewish.
I'm pretty sure one of the things that really got Becca upset with him is he said, so for the version that we're using, we're going to use
I
King
remember
James
that.
because so that we can all be in the same version, not because it's better.
Or
Which
the
is
only
Becca's premise, is
inspired
that
word of
the
God.
King James
Oh yeah,
version
I
is
still have the
either
lovely,
the best or the only
Preserving.
Bible
the
I don't know
version
why
that
I
is
watched
acceptable.
that. I only had to watch it
Because
this
it was
year
required.
and next year.
You almost got away without ever having to watch it, but
But
you
I
did.
watched it by choice for some reason.
It was because
don't
I
know.
had to watch it, and
Yeah.
I was watching it during a young adults when you were up there with me. So, but yeah, the
Preserving
Bible
the-
preserved
yeah.
from Satan's attack is what it is, and yeah, it was just them ranting and saying that the King James version is the only inspired translation, and that everything else they put the King James version on a pedestal, and then literally dropped all the other versions that he bought on the ground, and then just walked around on them. Not on them, but yeah. So
But we digress into the topic
yes,
that we said
yeah,
we were
we
going to
were.
stay away from.
Anyway, yeah, my favorite teacher I ever had was Dr. Banaha. He was the physical science teacher. He was
He
so
subbed
good.
one day in one of my classes, and I loved
I
him.
loved subs. That was the most exciting thing in video school because there were never subs. And then when a sub came, it was like, well, you teach another one of my classes, but this is kind of cool.
Unless your unless your sub was Dr. Shoemaker. Did you guys ever have him? He was the
No.
principal
I don't
at the
think so.
time.
I never had Dr.
He subbed for Miss Stancil for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was so boring.
That's
So boring. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's a good dude, but it was really boring.
Miss Stancil is really fun in her own way.
Miss Stansel's great.
Of course,
Miss
with
Stancil's
Kenny.
awesome. That squeaky voice and the glasses, you can't stop watching. It's just so entertaining.
We used to always quote something from her, and I can't remember what it is now.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't
And
remember
you've
it
got-
either.
I know it was you got the somethings, and you got the somethings, and
Oh, because she was pulling, it was the model, like that model of the human body, and it's got all the organs in it. And I think she's pulling them out. And it's like, you
Yeah.
got the stomach, and you got the heart in her squeaky voice. It was just so entertaining.
It's
And
so
we
good.
quoted it forever. That's what it was. It's like this lifelike model, and you can actually, it's not lifelike, it's very plastic. But you take
Yeah.
out the organs, and you can show their
You can
placement
see
and
what-
how they fit together.
yeah.
Pardon?
Lifelike would be fun.
I should have brought in a real cadaver.
Well, that would go over well.
Okay,
Proceed.
awkward silence.
So what were you?
Dr. Vanaha.
Mhm.
Oh, he was so good. He was the kind of teacher who would encourage some goofing off while still like actually teaching. So like Kenny was
So,
the
like,
class.
Miss
Kenny was
Autry.
the Kenny was the class. Even a little bit more than that. It was so good. So I don't know
Oh,
what
he
we
would-
were teaching aerodynamics at one point, and of course paper airplanes, of course. So he gave everyone paper airplanes, and then like at the end of the class where he's doing that, and here's your homework, and then we'll wrap up and the final thoughts on the lesson, and before the blue screen, um, there's just this random paper airplane that comes flying in from one side of the room.
Beautiful.
It was so good. The dramatic pause, and then, and students watching, you may want to say goodbye to Kenny because you may not be seeing him in future lessons.
Is this the same Kenny that was class clown in, was it Miss Thompson's English class?
Yes.
No, it's not
Okay.
Miss
Oh,
Thompson.
maybe
it's
not Miss
Mrs.
Thompson.
Bear.
Mrs.
Mrs. Bear.
Mrs. Bear?
No, Mrs. Bear.
Mrs. Bear was
What's her
kindergarten.
name?
Miss.
I can't remember.
It's something with an H, maybe.
Uh,
The year that I would have had this year, or the class that I would have had this year.
I know this.
I think I had Mrs. Schmuck for senior English.
You did?
Really?
I think so.
That would have been so cool.
That would have been so nice.
It was
See,
either
I
Miss
had.
Mrs.
They
Thompson
hung
or
on to Mrs. Schmuck's
Schmuck.
videos for way longer than. I don't think they. I think they should have hung on for longer, but like, also I had her 4 years after she died, and that just got weird. So
It was a little disturbing, but she's an awesome
yeah, she
teacher.
was so good.
That's another homeschool thing.
Yeah,
If you've ever
ever
had
been
teachers
taught by
that
a
are
literal dead. Okay, this
Oh,
is a little
moving
bit,
on.
a little bit too much. Oh, what was her name?
I thought it for sure. You said it was Bear. I know you said it at some point, but
Mrs. Bear taught
I
kindergarten.
know Mrs. Bear taught kindergarten, but it would have been a different one.
Was it Miss
How many
Baker?
Mrs.
Miss
Bears
Baker.
can you
Yeah,
have?
that's
I
it.
think it was
Mrs.
Miss Baker.
Mrs. Baker or Miss Baker?
Mrs. Baker.
Mrs. Baker.
That doesn't sound right now.
For some
I don't
reason,
remember.
the
Sounds right to
school that I
me,
go
but-
to now, we call everyone Miss, even though they're all Misses. So
Maybe it's Ms. MS.
maybe
Unspecified.
Ms.
Unspecified.
So I just
female
call
title.
everybody Ms. Miss. So I don't know. Anyway,
Mrs. Hawks used to get so mad if we called her Ms. Hawks. It's like, I am married somewhat happily. You will call me Mrs. It was entertaining. That was not homeschool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Mrs. Baker. I'm
Oh,
90%
and
sure.
then that
but
one
yeah.
part, I still
But-
remember it, even though I didn't take a class. That is another homeschool thing. Anyway, the tinfoil thing.
Yeah, it was acting out the Mark Twain. What was it called? I don't remember what it was called, but
Is this in
basically the
speech
one.
class?
No, this
No,
was
English.
in English. She had you act out the
Okay.
play. It was the one
Is
with
this Mrs. Thompson?
no, this is
Mrs.
Mrs. Baker
And Kenny.
and Kenny.
Okay, so, I
So
wouldn't
it
have
was
seen
the
this.
one. It was the story with where there's the lightning storm, and the wife makes the husband like stand on a chair holding a sword and metal, and wearing metal boots and all that fun stuff. So that was the scene, and Kenny was the prop. It was marvelous.
I
Really
love
dear.
teachers.
So
who-
this is ringing a bell because you guys
Yeah.
showed me that
Oh,
clip.
you
probably.
showed me that clip, and then I had it again.
Who was the
No,
teacher?
it wasn't. She never had Kenny.
Did she?
I never
No,
had
because
Mrs.
it
Baker.
was.
No.
Well,
then
maybe
I might be
Caleb showed you.
remembering. It might have been
It
Caleb,
probably-
but Caleb never told it, showed us anything.
I would timestamp stuff. Like
Yeah.
I would
No,
write
but
down.
I think
Especially
Caleb
Mr.
had-
McBride's classes.
I think Caleb had at least some class with Kenny because Dixie, another
Oh
classmate,
yeah.
was in somewhere in that
That
year group, and
year group.
and he said that he had her.
I
as
forgot
a
about Dixie.
classmate, So
Yeah, I think I was the last one to get senior English with Mrs. Schmuck.
Yeah.
Or
that's
whatever
really
that
sad.
last year was.
Who did I
It
have
might
for
have been
senior
11th
English?
and then Mrs. Thompson for senior.
Oh, I
I
had
don't remember.
Mr.
Oh,
Busey,
Mr. Busey. Oh my
I
goodness.
wish I'd
AKA
had Mr. Busey.
Autumn's old classmate.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that Mom used to tutor him in English when he was like early high
She
school.
taught him in remedial college
I thought
English.
that was Dr. Vanaha, and that's
Oh, maybe not.
and or maybe it
Yeah, maybe it
was
was.
Mrs. Vanaha that or no, because they were
But
friends.
that wasn't remedial
I don't
English.
remember.
I think Mr. Busey was remedial English, is what Mom said.
That's
Maybe I'm wrong.
disturbing because he taught me. Although I did correct
I
him
guess
so
she did a
often
good job.
in English.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is little weird backstory. So Mom student taught under Mrs. Schmuck, and then with Mr. Doobie, with Mr. Doobie, um, a little bit because she minored in history and Mr. Doobie was a history major, so they student taught together a little bit, and then knew what's my English or my math teacher? The name is slipping my mind. Armstrong? That's not right.
Ashworth?
No, Ashworth. Yeah,
Ashworth.
she knew Mr. Ashworth too.
Yeah. Yeah, she knew Mr. Zyla. And when she heard that Mr. Zyla was going to be our teacher, she just said, I'm so sorry. This is. Yeah, it was entertaining. It was the farthest thing from entertaining. It was so unentertaining, it was entertaining. If that makes any sense.
It was funny because when I told her I had Mr. Doobie, and it was like, this was before we used to like watch the previews, and the previews were available online and all this. This was it wouldn't have been my first year. It'd have been 7th grade. It was 7th grade, so it was the first year we had kind of split classes. Rather than having them all on one DVD, you had different DVDs for each class. And it was like a couple weeks in, she found out I had Mr. Doobie. And she's like, does he still lean on the podium like that? And I'm like, yep, absolutely. He spent so much time like leaning with his elbow on the podium. It was so funny. It was his go-to teaching stance. Yeah, he was so good. He was so casual and so funny. And it's probably because he was like straight out of grad school, but very entertaining teacher.
Yeah, I really wish I'd had Mr. Dewey. That would have been great.
So,
What?
proceed.
Huh?
Any other favorite teachers?
Any other favorite teachers? I really liked what's his name? The chemistry, Mr. Ridgely. His reviews were really boring. I see
could
that.
not
I see that coming. His
stand
reviews.
him. Oh my word.
I think
Next to
okay,
individuals, your question
No.
is.
what really?
Next
No.
to individuals,
That
your
wasn't
question
him.
is. Yes, it was.
It was for the
Yes,
first little
it
bit,
was.
and then he shook things up.
I thought that
I
was
should
Mr.
not
Enders.
say things that. Okay. Oh, Mr. Enders did it too. Mr. Enders is by far the worst teacher at Abeka, so yeah.
Let's
We're not going
delve
there.
into
We're
that
not
I
going
had
there.
him
either.
1 year. I feel like I had him for
bless you,
7th
then,
grade.
'cause that was
7th
that
grade
was miserable.
science or something like that.
Yeah, he was 7th grade science, and then he was Bible for like 5 years. It was horrifying.
He was the worst teacher I've ever had in my entire life.
But yeah,
Hands down.
Moving on.
Mr. Ridgely, who was entertaining. I would say that Mr. Ridgely reminded me of like if Caleb were into science.
Kind of
That
like
would be
what's the Nutty Professor? That
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
I remember. Is he the one
Very
who did like
similar.
the hydrogen experiment
Yeah.
with dry, something like
Uh-huh.
that? Yeah. He
His
could be
experiments were always
entertaining.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mr. Vanaha, Dr. Vanaha. He's doctor now. He wasn't at the time that it was filmed. He did that with the liquid nitrogen and the balloons showing the pressure and volume interactions. Oh, that was the one with Kenny. It was like, so we're not gonna have any student volunteers
Oh,
come
yeah,
out because
that's
this is
right.
really dangerous. Actually, you know what, Kenny, come on up here.
That's awesome.
It was so good. They picked on each other the entire year, and it was great. I really wish that would be the one reason that I would survive PCC is because I'd be in a science major and Dr. Banaha would be teaching some of my classes, but I would not survive PCC, so that's not a thing. But anyway,
I think I feel like Mr. McBride had a couple of kids that kind of did that, and it made it really entertaining. I don't remember for sure, but I feel like there was a lot of back and forth in his classes that he encouraged. It was entertaining.
Anyway, am I up or do you have any more gems to share?
I don't think there's anything more. I'm sure I'm gonna interrupt you at some point, so move on.